I had a client that recently made $73,172.89 wholesaling houses nationwide using Facebook ads. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what he did. So maybe you could do the same thing as well. In this model, we are doing nationwide wholesaling. So we're doing deals all across the country. Everything is done virtually. So we're never speaking with the property owners. We are speaking with the property owners. We're never physically inspecting the properties, meeting with the property owners or the buyers. We know nothing about these markets. We don't need to know anything about repairs or anything of that matter. All we need is a phone and our computer, and that's it. Now we're doing lead generation nationwide. Now the benefit to using Facebook ads or any sort of inbound lead strategy is that there is no cold calling, no SMS, and no agents. This is really important because, the first thing you got to fix in your real estate wholesaling business is lead generation. If you don't have leads, you don't have a business. And if you're constantly trying to figure out a way to get leads, then you're not even remotely working on any other part of the business. So you got to figure out the lead generation first. It's ideal if you have a lead generation strategy that is bringing you leads inbound, meaning that it's working in the background while you're not working. Because if you're cold calling, then you're on the phone making those calls. If you're texting, you're doing the same thing. If you're driving for dollars, you're the one that's doing all that. So ideally, it's a system that you've put in place that is just out there pushing leads to you. And, that's number one. That's the benefit of having a nationwide, online lead generation strategy. Now, when we do leads nationwide with Facebook, we're getting leads at about $15 to $20 per lead. Now, I do have campaigns right now that are running at $10 and $12 a lead, but I'm just giving you kind of a worst case scenario, $15 to $20 for a property owner who's filled out a form with a bunch of questions, and now they're waiting for you to call them. And so the other key thing about this is that you're no longer an annoying pest. You are now a welcome guest, because unlike cold calling where you're calling people, they're combative, they're asking you, who are you, how'd you get my number, well, why don't you make me an offer, etc., etc. You're dealing with a prospect who is waiting for you to call them. So when you call them, it's a very nice, pleasant conversation. Hey, as you're listening to this, if you feel, you know what, I would love to get help on this. You guys, can you help me, Chico, set this up, train me on how to do everything? The answer is absolutely yes. And we can even partner with you on the deals that you find with our system. So if you're interested, just click the link in the description, answer a few questions. I'll personally reach out, and then we'll see if maybe there's something we can do to help you. Now, the second part of this strategy is going to be high volume of leads. In this particular strategy, it's predicated on having a large number of leads. And the reason for that is because we are now going to be operating under the sifting and sorting business, not the convincing business. A lot of real estate investors are in the convincing business, and just by default, right? Because you don't have that many leads. Anytime a lead comes in, it's like you bring it in a little pillow, wanting to make sure that you don't mess it up because you don't know when the next lead is coming, and it's generally not a good situation to be in. What you want is you want a lot of leads coming to you. Every day you have leads coming in, and the benefit to that is that if somebody is in a deal, then you could just say the magic 4-letter word, not the F word, and next. You can just say, you know what? I can't help you. Best of luck to you. And now you're going to go and talk to your other leads. And the only way that you get that sort of confidence and the ability to do that is that you know that you have a system that predictably, reliably is always bringing you leads. And so that's what we want. You're going to get 3 types of leads. So one of the negatives that people state is that, Chico, whenever I do nationwide ads, then I'm just going to get all kind of crappy leads all over the place. So there are 3 types of leads that you get. Number one is you get crappy leads. No way to avoid it. What's a crappy lead? It's a house that's literally in the middle of nowhere. Like if there's no sign of human civilization around that area. Now, you are going to get great leads. These are leads, like recently we just did a deal in Jacksonville, Florida, where that came from a nationwide campaign. So even though it was nationwide, even though it was targeting the entire US, we happened to get a lead and a viable lead, and it made it into a deal in Jacksonville, Florida. And then we're going to get what we call the sleepers. Now, the sleepers are those deals that are in tiny towns of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 population size. When you look at other tools, you don't see any cash buyers. Like literally, you would look at that deal and say, well, if I put it on the contract at a good price, how am I going to find a buyer? Because there are no cash buyers anywhere. And those are the deals that he's making a good amount of money on. And how he's doing that is through wholesaling novations. Novation, in case you're not familiar with that term, a lot of people teach that, is where it's a strategy that allows you to take a property and offer more money than a typical wholesaler would, and be able to put that property on MLS, so that way you can make more money from it, and at the same time, you can expose it to a larger database of buyers, because now you're exposing it to the entire multiple listing service. Now, he's using novations in a peculiar way. Most people do novations where they are specifically selling the property to an end buyer who's going to go out and get a conventional loan, meaning that the property is worth $300,000. Maybe you're going out to the market with that house at $290, $280, $275. It's going to be a really good deal for someone, But you're going to have to deal with a conventional lender, meaning that the paperwork has to be very specific, that the timeline is also stretched. So if you're talking with a seller, instead of saying 30 days, now you're telling them 90 days. That's a negative on novations. However, how he's doing novations and how we're going to be implementing that ourselves recently, we're just going to be publishing a brand new training in our members area on this, is that we're going to be doing novations primarily targeting cash buyers, because 90% of his deals are using cash buyers. And then that means that the close is generally 30 to 60 days. And also you don't have to deal with a conventional lender, which means that the scrutiny on the paperwork and the amount of delays and mishaps that occur when you're dealing with a conventional lender, FHA, VA, etc., are completely minimized. And so then now you're able to take that property, and whereas you normally would not have been able to do anything with it, now you can expose it to people in that small town that are looking, but they're hiding. See, there's a lot of people in these small towns that are have cash, have the wherewithal, are looking, but we don't know about them because they're not in public records. But the minute you put on the MLS, that inventory shows up, somebody there notices it, and all of a sudden now you have an interested party. And so that is what my client is doing in order to make a month, and he has a ton of other deals under contract and pending to close. This is just 1 month. But if you're not utilizing this particular strategy, then you might be missing out on opportunities. Now, this works really if you are able to unearth leads and deals in small towns across the country. And it's hard to know what those small towns are because you don't even know that they exist. And we don't know that they exist until the lead comes in from the ad. And all of a sudden we're like, wow, that's an amazing market, an amazing deal. Now, if you want to know how we do Facebook ads, check out that video there, because that is going to explain to you exactly our strategy for Facebook. And that way you can start to implement that yourself.